Magandang araw po mga tangay. Nandito na naman po tayo sa isang episode ng Mattinong Usapan. Alam niyo po, naiibang episode na ito sa lahat dahil ang interviewin po natin ngayon ay hindi lang local, kundi mga Hollywood stars. So, atin na pong kilalanin ang una nating panauhin. Kilalang kilala niyo po ito. Parati po siyang lumalabas na kontrabida sa mga Hollywood movies. Isa sa mga pelikulang gustong-gusto ko ay yung role niya sa Con Air, kung saan po nandun si Nicolas Cage at syempre yung Machete na movie at yung Hit. So atin na pong kilalanin. Isang tingin lang, kilala niyo na po ito, si Mr. Danny Trejo. I would like to introduce a very famous Hollywood actor, Mr. Danny Trejo.
Hello.
Hello. So, Mr. Trejo, how do you find the Philippines, especially Puerto Princesa, where you're doing a very iconic movie, playing a very iconic role from someone who's really known in Philippine history?
Well, first of all, I honestly believe that God comes to rest on this island. It's gorgeous. It's really beautiful. You know, people, everybody, just like such a good-spirited island. This movie, when I read it, it was just very important to me because of the history. Because 1521 is also the same history of Puerto Rico, California,
Yeah. Oh.
Mexico, you know, and so the history is there, and I'm real glad that somebody is portraying the history, the true history, not just, you know, that they colonized everything beautiful.
Yes, there's a lot of story behind that.
And a lot of violence, you know.
Yes, of course. Good stories, violence, and so I'm so happy that we somehow share the same history. So you know that Filipinos share a lot of common language with Spanish, like
Absolutely,
this one,
yeah.
Celia.
A lot of Hernandez, there are a lot of Trejos, there's a lot of
Mendoza. Mendoza, yeah, I'm Mendoza.
So the culture is very, very rich. You know, same as the Mexican culture, same as the Puerto Rican. We're all tied together.
So, we greet each other the same way. Hey, kumusta? By the way, since you're a very famous Hollywood actor and you're working with a very famous Filipina actress, Miss Bea Alonso, how do you find working with her?
Amazing. First of all, she's beso de los labios.
Guapa.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And it's funny, I told her, Bea, that means beautiful.
Yeah.
Because Beo means very handsome. You know? And the feminine is Bea. And so I says, she said, I am Bea. Oh, beautiful. And she was like, I am Bea is beautiful in Spanish. Oh, and she turned to her assistant, Bea.
Oh, beautiful, yes. Bea is a very famous Philippine actress, you know. She had done a lot of movies locally. And one more thing, you're playing the role of Lapu-Lapu, right?
No, I'm playing the role of Magellan.
Oh, now he knows. Now you're playing the role of Magellan. And, you know, in history, before we go there, what could you say about being Magellan?
Well, you know, Magellan was really, when he was with Portugal, he was a explorer. And then Portugal wouldn't let him do what he wanted to do, so he actually went to Spain, and Spain told him to start colonizing the different countries, and that's how how we all came about as far as so he turned, you know, I mean, it's hard to say, because at the time, you know, the word was, we'll either baptize you or kill you. What do you want?
Yeah,
you know?
Christian. Philippines was named Philippines because of course, Magellan's, when Magellan came to the Philippines. I think if my history serves me right, it was named after King Philip II. And from there on, Philippines is called the Philippines. So speaking of Magellan, of course, in the Philippines, if there's Magellan, there is Lapu-Lapu.
Yeah.
Because they were like...
They were pitted
Yes.
in history, you know.
Yeah.
And so I'm glad that Michael is telling the true story, you know, of that they were really at war with each other, you know, and
That's where the violence came in.
Lapu-Lapu won.
And up to this day, no one knows who really killed Magellan. They say it was Lapu-Lapu, or the other way around. Who really killed Lapu-Lapu? But on the lighter side, I heard you ate Lapu-Lapu last night.
Well, you know, I told him that I killed him and ate him.
Yeah, it's called escabeche. What did you have last night? The sweet Lapu-Lapu?
Absolutely.
They call it here escabeche.
He's a ex-Power Ranger, I love him.
Any parting words you would like to share to the Filipinos and to all who will be watching this video?
I really want to thank the fans that I had here in the Philippines, and I know that even since I landed in the airport, I've had nothing but love. I just want to thank everybody because I'm away from home and I always travel by myself. And this is just like, everybody made me feel at home. Thank you.
Right, okay. So, you know, everybody can still believe that you're here. Now, I can't believe that you're right in front of me right now. I really love your movie, Con Air, from way back during I think that was 1997. Desperado was, yeah, another hit. That was a nice one. And Machete.
The kids here in the Philippines, they're all going, Spy Kids!
Oh.
Spy Kids! You know, so they're watching Spy Kids still. And Robert Rodriguez is making another Spy Kids, so that's going to be good. You know? Yeah, but I love what I do, and I get to do what I love. I get to come to beautiful places like the Philippines.
Thank you.
Been on my list for a long time. You know, so I think I'll probably come back here on a vacation where I can just run around.
Yeah, we'll be glad to have you back here. Just let us know when you're back. And really, it was an honor interviewing you today. And I hope you come back and visit the rest of Palawan and Puerto Princesa. Again, thank you.
Thank you.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
It's an honor.
God bless you. Thank you.
Mga tangay, kung kanina in-interview natin si Magellan, syempre, ngayon, interviewin na rin natin si Lapu-Lapu. Napapanood niyo na po ito siya. Isa rin siyang Hollywood actor. Lumabas na po siya sa moving Power Rangers, Scorpion King 2, at marami pa pong iba. At siya rin po ang nagdidirect ng moving ito, ang 1521. Atin na pong kilalanin si Lapu-Lapu, si Mr. Michael Copon.
Time for Power Rangers.
What's up, guys? It's Michael Copon. Lucas from Power Rangers Time Force, the Blue Ranger.
Time for We are gonna bring it to justice, no matter what it takes. You're gonna pay for this.
We have some questions here for you. First is tell us about your Filipino roots. I heard you're half Filipino?
Yes, my dad's from
Cavite. Oh, Caviteño.
my mom is American. She's blonde hair, blue eyes, American, and my dad met her in America, and and they had me. So,
So that's the
Yeah.
love story.
yep,
Right.
love story. Yep.
Okay.
But yeah, proud Filipino. I'm glad to be
Good.
here.
Wow, speaking of Filipino, you're playing the role of Lapu-Lapu because earlier we interviewed Mr. Danny Trejo who plays the role of Magellan. So tell us, how did you get involved in this film?
So Lapu-Lapu has been a story I've been holding on to since 2007, and I've been wanting to do this story. I've been carrying around this historic book about all the great war heroes of the Philippines, given to me by Nina Batista, who used to manage Apple to App, the singer from Black Eyed Peas, or rapper from Black Eyed Peas. And she said, Mike, you should do movies about some of these war heroes in our ancient past. And I said, yeah, you're right. She showed me Lapu-Lapu, and it connected with Braveheart, which is my favorite Hollywood movie.
Mel Gibson.
And I wanted to do a movie that was my own Braveheart. So similar, like Mel Gibson produced, acted, and directed Braveheart, I'm produced, directing, and acting in
This
This is
film,
Lapu-Lapu. At the summit of the world, so I became the president of the Filipino Chamber of Commerce in DC. And December, that's where I met Francis Ho. I was on stage speaking about making movies about Filipino war heroes and empowering men. And Lapu-Lapu was one of those people that I've always been chatting about, saying like, we need movies like this that show courageous leaders for the Filipino people. So just like Bruce Lee has empowered kung fu, martial arts and samurai, the samurai culture has empowered the Japanese past, and even movies like Saving Private Ryan, or movies like Troy, and it always goes back to other people's heritage. But we've not had anything for the Filipino people that was like, wow, my uncle fought in that war, at least not in Hollywood. You know, and that was my goal, is to make a Hollywood movie that touched everyone globally, that was about the Filipino people. And Lapu-Lapu is that story.
Yeah, it's one way of introducing the Philippines into mainstream Hollywood, or in the world, for the world. Again, third question is, what were your challenges in shooting here in Palawan, in Puerto Princesa?
I think the biggest challenges was really just working with the resources that we had. We had a very low budget to accomplish such a big goal. So working with all those challenges with any low budget film is very hard. But I pitched in, my wife and I, we pitched in a lot of our own resources. Instead of shooting with 2 cameras, we've had 5 cameras on set sometimes playing. This was all our own equipment we've invested in, we've had for years with our own company, Copon Studios. So I played a lot of part into making this project happen, when some days we've started 3 to 5 hours late on set. And as a director, it's very hard and challenging for me. But I had to make my days, and Danny Trejo was even saying that, like, wow, I didn't think you were gonna make this day, and you made it. And he even said I directed his best fight scene, so that made me feel like the best man in the entire world, that I directed Machete's best fight scene that he ever did. And so other than those challenges and a lack of budget to maybe have like
Effects,
all the right extras and different things, we had an incredible amount of volunteers that came out and supported our film. And I had one write me today and said, if it weren't for you, Direct, I wouldn't have been there, but all of us stayed by your side. And it just warms my heart to think that people just were there for me on that level after just meeting me like 20 days ago.
Tell me, is this your major break as a director? Because I understand you already did some other directorial jobs in the past.
You know, I would say that it could be my biggest break, because I'm finally directing something that I've been passionate about for years. You know, when I talked about doing this movie of Lapu-Lapu, and Francis met me in DC, you know, he expressed the interest of wanting to do it and invest in it as well. And then come February, 2 months later, we're writing our first script and making the project happen. I'm finally directing a movie that's been so near and dear to my heart for so many years. And I'm excited about that. Like, I've directed movies that I could possibly do with the budget I had it within my own finances. So a lot of the projects I've done in the past were just built on like what I had access to financially, or projects that came to me that were already funded. So this was the first project that was funded from an idea that I wanted to do.
Is this also your first project you filmed, directed out of the United States? Or?
Yes,
first project. It's really a big thing. Okay. And one more thing, how is it like working with Bea Alonso? You know, Bea Alonso is a big star here in the
Bea's a big
Philippines.
star, and I've gotten to know how big she is since I've been here in the Philippines. You know, I didn't know who Bea was until I came here, but seeing how many people love her and watching her films prior to coming here, she's been such a an awesome addition to the film. Like having Danny and Costas Mandalore as Hollywood professionals, and then having Bea Alonso as a Philippine professional, mixing the two actually just brought it to a whole new level. It's the gap I've been trying to bridge for so many years, where you're taking Hollywood stars and American stars, and Filipino stars, and putting them all in one movie. And seeing that connection was just mind blowing for me. And working with Bea Alonso, she always brought it. Even if I just had to do one little tweak, she took direction so well and hit everything that I wanted her to hit. And I couldn't ask for someone better. You know, it actually worked out really well. I think people are going to see a whole new side of Bea Alonso they've never seen.
Oh, that's something to watch.
Yeah.
Okay, for our final question, what does the Philippine moviegoers, what will they expect with this film?
You know, you're going to expect something that obviously has never been done yet. A Hollywood producer doing a movie about a Filipino story in the Philippines. Filipinos have produced movies about Filipino stories, and Hollywood producers have come here with movies like Born Identity, but it's not movies about
Just for the
Philippines.
location.
So this is the first time this is happening in history. So what you can expect is really a bunch of us that are passion driven, that have come together to put this story together to impact the world on a global level, that will inspire you and transform your perspective on our history. Because we weren't savages, you know, we weren't these poor, dumb, animalistic creatures. I mean, the Visayan culture was very rich. We were very well off, and we had a lot of great things going for us. And being conquered by certain people and being pushed back for years, it really did affect us as a culture. But yet we've fought back again as Filipinos. And learning about our ancient cultures and learning about where we've come from to where we are now, I think people are going to be educated and they're going to be inspired. They're going to fall in love with their culture all over again.
This is just I also asked Danny this question. So, how did lapu-lapu taste? I heard you ate lapu-lapu a few weeks ago.
Lapu-lapu tastes delicious.
Sweet and sour.
Yeah,
Okay.
It tastes delicious, man.
Yeah.
But that sounds weird. It makes it sound like I taste delicious.
Okay.
Now, lapu-lapu fish is so good, and it's so funny being that the character's name also named in the fish.
Yeah.
But you know, such a war hero. But yeah, the fish is great, and the character even better.
Mike, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I
so
hope
much.
I wish you the best,
Thank
and
you, man.
can invite our moviegoers.
Yes. Hey guys, check out 1521, a movie directed by myself and made by all the local people in Palawan. We have made this movie with our own blood, sweat, and tears, and we are so proud to bring this to you globally, and we hope that it changes your heart and inspires you and educates you and also entertains you.
That's it mga tangay for today's video. Hanggang sa susunod na episode ng Mattinong Usapan.